All Natural Being. Warning, All Natural Being with Brian Brawdy is designed to shake your sense of self to the core.
It's full contact psychology with an empowering twist, a philosophical loofah for your soul.
For those of you not ready or comfortable releasing your inner superhuman, listener discretion is advised.
Here's your host,
Brian Brawdy.
Good evening. Excuse me, once again, and welcome. Thanks for coming and hanging out for what is now the four and serendipity of it all. Blind alleys and cul-de-sacs, of course there are, but there's never a dead end. That is, unless we decide to tap out. But until that time, let's agree to put our heart's highest priority top of the list. Always calling on your true wit and wisdom and the wallop of your inner whisper. And I think that's a good thing because we're here to out-brutal the brutal, and it is brutal out there. Brutal, but cut and shuffle that fate can deal you on a daily basis. And for once and for all to bring your own bold, that's a prescription, as you know, I think, for everything. Quick hello to my friends and those joining us from all over the globe. It's great to have you with us. I truly am fired up today to be driving your bandwagon, to be avidly you, to be your biggest fan, to be your virtual hitchhiker if you're out and about and on the go. It says we're going. So what do you say? Here's your opportunity to mortal up, if in fact the show is getting out there, to crush your cant and your critics, to demand your mind's eye and your true potential live wide open. So what do you say? Let's go kick in some doors. And over on the radio side, if you're catching any of this, there may be some question as to whether we're making it out to Facebook and YouTube and the like. But if you're on the radio side, it's great to have you with us as well. Let me check this out quickly. See what's going on. Says if we're not broadcasting on that side, then look at on the bright side. It's just us hanging on to the radio this evening. How great is that going to be? Right? I'm liking that. All right, so let's just do it then. Even though it says we're not going out live to any of our different places, it says that we most certainly are, then let's go ahead and hang out radio side as it is. And then Wayne also let you know if you want to get in and work some of your magic. It says here that we are going out, but I love this every so often when they say, oh, into every life a little rain must fall. And you think, oh, okay, great. Well, we're not going out to any of the usual suspects. We get to hang out here this evening on the radio, and how absolutely cool is that? So, yeah, no, I'm pretty sure we're not going out anywhere, so that's good news. All right, so Wayne, let me do this. If you're listening, I'm going to go ahead, and Wayne, if you want to, Twitter is down, and I'm not getting anything on Facebook, only YouTube. Okay, great. Well, then YouTube it is. Nice to see a YouTube. Wayne, if you're listening, could you put a post up in Facebook to tell people how to get over? Something is not quite right, as you can see, but let me see. Output settings, warning, something is programming. Okay, well, it sure says we were going out everywhere, but now we'll try this. We've got one created. Let's hit OK again, and we'll hit OK. Well, yeah, sure, if you're stopping that one broadcast, but let's see where we are. See if that's any better. All right, so this evening we were going to talk about all the technology that we're bringing to a big announcement that we have coming. March 4th, which is a Monday, we'll be making our big switch to mornings. But here's the big thing about mornings. When I first started All Natural Being all those months, if not years ago, we had ourselves a morning show, and it was something that I truly enjoyed getting up about 2:30 every morning, writing the content, getting everything set the way we wanted, so that we could then say, okay, great, what are we going to do to jumpstart our day? And we used to have the tagline, what you can do, in order for your feet to hit the floor, what you can do to get your head together before you head out the door, that kind of thing. So we're very excited about coming back to just that, to be doing a morning show so that we can then kind of prepare ourselves together for facing the day ahead. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be going on Monday through Friday. We're going to go from 6:30 to 7:30 Eastern. So maybe, get up around 6 o'clock, do a quick little post, let everyone know that we're up and about. We'll have some of our morning jubilee, whatever that is, our coffee, whatever it is that you drink. We'll get some of that put together and then figure out exactly what we're going to do to jumpstart our day. But we'll be doing it together starting March 4th, 6:30 to 7:30 a.m. Eastern time. So we're pretty excited about that. I mean, that's assuming, right, that we ever get any of the technology to work the way we want. And, I say all the time, Wayne and I talk about it all the time, we're not going to make any adjustments, right, like an hour before the show starts. And then sure enough, what do? We come in and we make adjustments, and it just doesn't ever seem to work out for us. So I think here's what we're going to do. We're going to pick those things, and then we're going to stick with it. No matter what, we're not leaving those settings, right? Hell or high water, whatever it takes, we're sticking to those settings and those settings alone. All right, if you want to give, now would be a good time to give us a call in if you want, 833-MIND-UPS, just like push-ups or sit-ups or pull-ups, 833-MINDUPS. Of course, we're talking about 833-646-3877 if you want me to do the math. You can also text us at that number, 833-646-3877, and then that will come right here through to the studio. All right, so one of the things that I wanted to talk about this evening, and I'm sorry that we're not over on lowlifes making headlines. Lowlifes making headlines. And then, we had some of these other ones here, but I thought maybe what we'll do is we'll stick with lowlifes making headlines. If you have a sense that that's something you think, oh yeah, that would be good, please give us a text, let us know. We're also looking at a segment called Quick Question, right? Just a quick question that you can ask for yourself each day. Quick question. Another segment is going to be Crimes of Mind, which I've been studying a lot lately. And by studying, I mean I've been sitting down with a blank notepad and a box of pens and, just working out some of the different things. But crimes of mind, what do you do, right? To be your own worst enemy. What do you do to be your own criminal? So we're going to have crimes of mind, of course, and we'll be talking about it this evening at length, but we're going to do the 60-second Stoic, right? My belief in the Stoic philosophy. So I'm pretty excited about that. And then we're also going to have this, I'll share this with you real quick. It's the Mortal Up Minute. And the Mortal Up Minute will basically focus on crush your can't. And while we're at it, let's crush your critics. But for the most part, let's crush your can't. Let's release your inner genius, and let's start taking over the world. So, our segments as we see them coming up, lowlifes making headlines, just because those segments write themselves, right? Then the segment of Quick Question, Crimes of the Mind, the 60-second Stoic, and the Mortal Up Minute will be the segments that we're going to at least start off with each show. Right? Each morning, those will be the segments, and hopefully we can build into them, and you'll go, oh, yeah, let's do this, let's do that, let's get this all set, let's get that all set. But those will be the things that we can start with to kind of show everybody this is exactly what we'll be doing to jumpstart our day. All right, so this evening, I wanted to talk, let me get this out of the way. Of course, we're very excited about 81 to Win, our official attempt at the Guinness World Record. That'll be coming up. You know what? Oddly enough, around my birthday. I'll be like 75 years old, I'm told. But we'll be doing that this June, and hopefully by the end of that week, we will be the official holder of a Guinness World Record for the longest call-in radio talk show ever. So we want to go ahead and make sure that you're aware of that, because we're booking people to call in and hang out with us. And, we did a 24-hour event that went pretty well. We made the full 24 hours, and a lot of good friends called in, letting us know what they were up to. So we're very excited about that as well. All right, so let's get back to this evening, if we could. And, we talk all the time about a prolific writer of all things Stoic, and I have my little, I think I've shown you this before. I've put a picture up of it before. I have my little coin, right, that I carry around with me that reminds me, you could leave life right now. right? So it's my little thing of an hourglass, the human skull, and the little flower going up there. But it's something that I just have in my pocket to kind of remind me that this instant could be our very last. So one of the other tenets that I love about Marcus Aurelius's writing, or one of his tenets that I love about Stoic philosophy, is that basically says it's like a math problem, right? If it's humanly possible, right? If it's humanly possible, and you're a human, then it's possible for you. If it's humanly possible and you're a human, it's possible for you. So we sit around with people going, oh, can you believe how fortunate this one is, how lucky that one is, how, in terms of all the different things, all the breaks they've gotten in life. They were born with a silver spoon. They were this, they were that. But when you stop, brass tacks of it all, if they can pull it off, so can you. Now, are there people a little more wealthy? Maybe so. A little smarter? Maybe so. A little faster? Maybe so. A little thinner, a little fatter, whatever it is? Maybe so. But ultimately, the epitome of anything you want to achieve, if it's humanly possible, then it's possible for you as long as you're a human. And I say all the time, you were granted a human mind. And when we talk about here at All Natural Being, putting your heart's highest priority top of your list, what is it that you think, well, if it's possibly human and I'm a human, then it's possible for me? What would you do if you knew you could not fail? What would you do? No excuses, no watering down, right? No putting your heart's highest priority on the back burner, no living in the backwaters of your mind, no binge thinking, right? None of the toxins that we let in. What would you do if you knew that anything was humanly possible? And because a human, that means technically it's also possible for you. What would you do? If you could unleash your true potential, not the watered down, not the potential that comes out and then all the Venus flytraps go, right, to try to grab it. I should get one of those here in the set, but for everyone that says, the set's too busy. Well, I don't think they'd think it's too busy if I had a real live Venus flytrap. But you know what? I got to ask someone if there's any horticulturalists, I think that's it, any botanists listening. Can a Venus flytrap grow where there isn't like a lot of sunlight? Or do they need a lot of sunlight to catch flies? I don't know how that would work out. But if anyone knows, please let me know. 833-646-3877. 833-MIND-UPS. If you're tuning in this evening, sorry that we're missing you apparently on Facebook and over on Twitter as well. I keep checking in, even though it says we're broadcasting. Wayne's at Control Center and says, yeah, no, that's not happening. So my apologies. But then I'm thinking, maybe, you know what? You're like going, hey, wait a minute. Where is he? I don't know what's happening. Where's All Natural Being for tonight? Well, we're not on over. I'm just checking right here. We're not on over on those formats, but we are coming live to YouTube. Very glad to be here. And of course, the radio, because we are a radio show. As I say to Matt all the time, we are a radio show. So this is pretty good to be able just to hang out here with none of the worries, other than the fact it's going to YouTube, none of the worries, right? None of the worries of the stuff that normally goes into producing a show where we've got cameras and video and this and that and everything else. Now we get to do straight radio, and I'm pretty fired up about that. All right, 833-646-3877, 833-MIND-UPS. We were talking a little bit earlier about some of the segments that we'll be doing in the morning show, and then our theme for this evening is if it's humanly possible, right? And you're a human, then it's possible for you. And if it's possible for you, what would you do? And you throw in the little caveat, what would you do if you knew you could not fail? What exactly would you be doing? And maybe that's a kind of the segment that we'll do the quick question. What would you do? Right? Now, maybe you have a bucket list. Maybe you have, in as much as I've in the past said, you have a carrot on the end of the stick. What could you do right now for the next 20 minutes to put your heart's highest priority top of the list? Your natural resources, your grit, your agility, your stamina. What could you do if you were to bring all that to bear in a moment? Like a magnifying glass. We used to have magnifying glasses around here somewhere. But like a magnifying glass, when you focus the rays of the sun and it gets right. See, all the props. I used to know where my props were. Now I can't find them. But if you had a magnifying glass and you were able to focus the rays of the sun, it'll catch fire. Well, what if you were able to focus the rays of your natural resources? What if you were able to focus the rays of the actual pulse of your heart? The thing that makes hair stand up on the back of your neck, the thing that makes your pulse quicken. What would you do if you could focus all those? And I think that's the brilliance of the 20-minute victories. Focusing all that energy right now in this particular moment in all of time. What kind of visual acuity would you have to identify the fingerprints of providence? Right? What if I'm right? And there's little pieces of the jigsaw puzzle that is your life spread out all over around you. What would happen if you actually had the ability to pay attention to those little stepping stones, those little cognitive cairns, the stack of rocks that you see, the cognitive cairns? What would it be like if in every moment you could identify exactly what the next step is that you're supposed to take? The next step you could take, maybe, if you like that better. But so many times we get these plans, we get these hopes, we get these dreams, we get the over there. Grass is always greener, right? Over there. But then we're so busy focusing over there, we don't see the fingerprints of providence right in front of us. We don't see that if it's humanly possible and we're a human, then it's possible for us. Instead of always thinking, man, that guy or that girl, she's got it going on. She knows what it's all about. But then if they know what it's all about, you too could know what it's all about. And I guess we could debate that, and you could say, well, there are certain things that make them more adept. Could very well be, but that doesn't mean you and I can't learn those certain things, right? We talk about mortal up. We talk about the toxins of thought. At least when it comes to binge thinking, yeah, people are going, oh, it's to be a deep thinker, yeah, unless those depths are full of toxins and it's full of I can't, I won't, there's no way. But if you could rid yourself of all of that binge thinking, right? If you could rid yourself of all that, of all the brittle brains, of all the things that give us mangled minds, if you could get rid of that, if you could pare all that away, what would your heart's highest priority be telling you when we talk about in the open each and every time? The wallop of your inner whisper. What would your whisper be saying if it wasn't drowned out by the din and clatter of all of our hopes and dreams and goals and carrots and bucket lists and all these other things? What if the whisper right there in that particular moment and all the time, what if that's the definition between true health and illness? At least philosophically, illness is when there's so much static. We can't hear what's going on right in front of us. We're drawn to distant stations. I imagine like in days past, you're in the AM car radio and you're trying to tune in the station as you're driving down the road. Well, what if philosophically that dis-ease comes from trying to draw in all that din and clatter as opposed to blocking all the noise, to blocking all the static and creating room for that inner whisper? Which leads me to the thought, as it often does, that everything you've ever truly needed, you've always had. Now, maybe you didn't have the bank account, fair enough. Maybe you didn't have a little bit of the education, fair enough. But everything you've ever truly needed, the ability to breathe, the ability to think, the ability to stand and square your shoulders, no matter what fate does to chop block you, the ability to stand in that particular moment in all of time and say, just bring it. Because I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to make absolutely certain that I survive this. And I refuse to lose. And to be honest with you, I'm getting kind of excited just thinking about going back to a morning show because everyone here has been great. Don't get me wrong. I appreciate everyone in the thread. I appreciate everyone that keeps us at being the #1 show on IPM Nation. And for the folks that religiously hang out with us each evening, I super appreciate it. And I hope that we find a way for you to be able to hang out with us in the mornings. But one of the things I love about morning is being able to mentally prepare to face whatever the day throws at us. Now, is it always going to be smooth sailing? No, not at all. But do you have the ability to handle rough waters? Yes. Maybe some of those sailing skills a little dormant, could be dormant, but they're not dead. If it's humanly possible and you're a human, that means it's possible for you. Youly possible. I guess if I could use the word Yuli. But there's an epidemic of binge thinking. Everyone's like, oh, I can't do that. What if I offended someone? What if someone were upset? What if I'm not successful on my first try? What if I fail? What if I get ridiculed? What if people laugh at me? What if people point at me? All these other things. The binge thinking. And just like binge eating is really no good for us, we eat just when we're bored. Well, what if your heart's highest priority had hijacked your own mind, re-hijacked your own mind? So you didn't have time for binge thinking. You were focused on putting your heart's highest priority top of your list. You were focused on this particular moment in all of time. That's what it would do. So as I go back down the list and I think of things, that I really wish that we could talk about. Let me see. What did I say we would do? Oh, quick question. Crimes of mind, 60-second stoic, mortal up minute, low life's making headlines. Things that we can do right out of bed in the morning to prime our minds to be happy, to prime our minds to be successful, to prime our minds. Here's the thing. I'm beginning to believe that the key to all this is priming your mind for intellectual intimacy, right? Where you're intimate with the meanderings of your own thoughts, and that being able to dictate in any particular moment, is that a thought that helps put your heart's highest priority top of your list, or is it a thought that hurts, right? That intellectual intimacy. And it's our thought that by going back and doing the morning show, we can get in and kind of jumpstart our day, jumpstart our brains for that intellectual intimacy. Intimacy with the instant at hand, to be able to identify, as I said earlier, the fingerprints of providence. And what would happen in our lives? And as you know, I think that the moment you're dialed in to this direct instant in all of time, the universe sits up and goes, she gets it. Universe sits up and goes, yo, man, yeah, he's dialed in. He knows what's going on. And the universe provides more for you to be going on about. Instead of always chasing, instead of always worrying, instead of all these other things, instead of all this binge thinking. We worry all the time about weary immune systems. Well, how about weary philosophical immune systems? We want to have a lot of worry from time to time about things that could derail our day. And, we've talked before about it, the Cognitive Bodyguard program. We've talked about the Cognitive Bodyguard. And what I'm hoping is our morning show will be just that. It's a bodyguard to protect you before you get out the door, right? It's got your back, kind of like close in personal protection to make sure that as you move through the day, there's no way that these negative thoughts are going to get in and be able to derail you. No way that's going to happen. So that's the thought I'd like to prepare to leave you with this evening. If it's humanly possible, the good and the bad now, got to take it both ways. If it's humanly possible and you're a human, then it's possible for you, good or evil. So you ultimately have to decide if it's humanly possible, and there you go, you're a human. Is it possible for you to live with your heart's highest priority top of your list? Yes. Now, is that possible when everyone and their brother wants to be able to pinpoint narcissists in your life? Well, ultimately, it comes to that particular moment and all the time where you go, I'm not worried about narcissists anymore, right? That's just an attempt to draw me away from listening to my inner whisper. But again, the thought, what would you do if you knew you could not be derailed? You knew that whatever you were going to do in that particular moment, you would be successful at it. And by successful, I mean it would make you smile. It was something that you truly, truly enjoyed. 1/72 of our day, 20-minute victories. All right, if you look at a big pie, one small sliver, 1/72 of the day. That might very well be all it takes to set your future on fire. Because it's my belief that once you get one 20-minute victory and you go, man, you know what? That didn't feel all that bad. I got to tell you, that was pretty good. And when it came to healing my sense of a broken brain, I know a little bit about that. When it came to healing my sense of a broken brain, that 20 minutes was one of the most powerful chunks I've had in a long time. And there's nothing that says you can't build another one on. Maybe you stack up two 20-minute victories. Now you got a 40-minute victory. And most certainly nothing that says you can't put 3 of them together and have an hour, 1/24 of your day. Or maybe you break it up and go, hey, you know what? I'll take 40 in the morning, 40 in the afternoon. You're like, you're a gross or a deli counter. Go, I'll take some of this and some of this and some of this. What if you decided to do two 20-minute victories in the morning 2 20-minute victories in the evening. I use one of mine for breathing and what some people will call meditation. For me, it's just the ability to say thank you in as many opportunities that I can think of things that I'm thankful for within 20 minutes. For me, that's a 20-minute victory. To be able to continually, and I do this, to be honest with you, even going throughout my day, I find reasons to say thank you to people. And I think if you try this tomorrow and you say, all right, I'll for 20 minutes, every time I bump into someone, and if they've done something, I thank them for it. You know what I mean? Someone lets you go at a traffic intersection. I wave and go, thank you. It's all good. But you build that sense of gratitude. Maybe that's what you want to use your 20-minute victory for, right? Because as we talked to Derek Noel last night from Derek Noel Fitness, we talked about progressive adaptation. We talked about how little things, right? You do one push-up. Before you know it, you're doing 100 push-ups. Well, that very well could be the same thing. It is the same thing when it comes to gratitude. It's a philosophical mindset of thankfulness, and it transforms everything in your body. Because ultimately, and people say, well, how do you beat stress? You're just thankful for whatever the chop block is at the moment at hand. Right? And they go, well, that's stressful. Well, it's stressful only if you have a goal to pull you out of the moment. There's very little that can be stressful about this particular moment in all of time unless you're worried about getting to another moment. But stress in and of itself comes with a stopwatch. Right? Comes with a calendar. It's stressful if you think you're not going to be able to achieve A or B by X or Y. But truly, there's not much stress that comes in this particular instant. All right, we're going to go ahead and get out of here. My apologies again to the people. Well, if you're here on YouTube, then you know everything's going smoothly. If you're here on the radio, it is a blast hanging out with you at IPM Nation. Thank you so very much. And we will get on top of what happened to Facebook and Twitter. We're going to conduct an investigation or whatever. You know, we'll figure it out one way or another. But thank you all so very much. We'll be back tomorrow night, which I guess is what? Today's only Monday, so tomorrow's Tuesday. It'll be the 415th episode. We're super looking forward to that. But until then, remember, mortal up. And if it's humanly possible, and you're a human, then it's possible for you as well. Have an absolutely fantastic evening.